Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's short devotional from TVCC. Over the past few weeks, I've been going down to the broadcast centre of UCB to record some programs for next year. They're going to be called Bible Books in 30 Minutes, and it's a follow-on from this year's series Bible Biogs in 30 Minutes. And as I was about to leave on the final day, the head of radio said, "I've got a little gift for you, just as a thank you for doing all this." And he gave me a book. And, well, you can never have too many books, can you? Here it is. It's called The Life of Jesus, Harmonized Gospels. And what it does is to try to reconstruct the life of Jesus by drawing material from all four of the Gospels and to try and put it in a sort of timeline order, actually much harder than it seems. Now, I've been aware of these harmonized Gospels for many years, ever since I was at Bible college, because we had to learn about them when we were doing our church history studies. The earliest form of a harmonized gospel dates back to the really early church in AD 160. But although I'd learned about them, I'd never actually read one for myself. So this seemed a really good opportunity to do that. And I've been using it in my own daily devotions. Now, as well as harmonizing the four Gospels, this edition is also what is called a red letter edition. And that means that all the words of Jesus are done in red font. Now, that's something I've never been very happy with personally, because in sort of putting that into red, it seems to make out that the words of Jesus are more important than the rest of the Bible, including the words of God himself. But nevertheless, I decided to put those hesitancies aside, and I started to use this in my daily devotions. And guess what? As I got into it, I found God really speak to me through, guess what? Yes, the bits in red. Because what the red print enabled me to see was something that I'd actually missed, even after all these years of reading the Bible. And that is what the very first recorded words of Jesus were. Wonder if you know what they are. Well, it's actually from that incident when Jesus goes with his parents at the age of 12 for the Passover festival in Jerusalem. And you'll perhaps remember that on his way back, they suddenly discover that he's not with them. You know, they used to travel in groups in those days for such festivals, and Mum probably thought he was in Dad's group, and Dad probably thought he was in Mum's group. They eventually discover that their son isn't with them, and they get into a panic. I can understand. We once lost our 2-year-old middle daughter in a branch of W.H. Smith, so I can really identify with them. Well, after what I imagine was the inevitable marital argument, they dashed off back to Jerusalem. And they found him where? Yes, that's right, in the temple. And as they found him, this is what we read. His parents were shocked to find him there, and Mary scolded him, saying, "Son, your father and I have searched for you everywhere. We've been worried sick over not finding you. Why would you do this to us?" And Jesus said to them, "Why would you need to search for me? Didn't you know that it was necessary for me to be here in my Father's house, consumed with him?" And I felt God say to me, would it be as obvious about you that if people were looking for you, the most obvious place they would look for you is in Father's house? Or by that I don't mean at the Oakwood or in a church with some steeple. I mean in here, inside. In here am I constantly to be found in my Father's house. Is that the most obvious place where you will find me, as it was for Jesus? And oh yes, my body and my mind might be engaged with other things when I'm at work or at school or in the office or digging in the garden or tidying up after the kids again. But in here, inside, am I constantly seeking to be in my Father's house? Is that the most obvious place for me to be, as it was for Jesus? Am I constantly seeking to keep in touch with him as I go through the day, with those little arrow prayers thrown up to him, or maybe humming a Christian song as I'm going about my business, or praying for the situation that I'm engaged in at that moment? Well, today, wherever we are and whatever we are doing, may we all seek to explore more of what it means to be in my Father's house. God bless you. Have a great day.